Akil West, welcome to Wild Moguls TV Perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me here at Wild Mogul. My name is Akil West, and I'm the founder of Sole Folks right here in Leimert Park.
Leimert Park. Can you share your story of how Sole Folks came to life and why you chose Leimert Park as its home?
Yeah, so Sole Folks came about, man, in 2020. It was a project between me, a brother by the name of Taz Arnold, and a sister named Nika King. Nika, I was dating at the time, and Taz is my best friend. And they're both doing amazing things. And Nika, she's an actress and comedian, and then Taz is a fashion designer and an artist and producer. And so they both had their own thing going on. They just wanted to support what I was doing. And so for the first year or so, they basically helped come along with the ideas. And for about I don't know, maybe like a month or so, we were just looking in the Leimert Park area, and this space came up. And I'm originally from this area. I'm originally from New Orleans, but when I moved to Los Angeles, I moved here. And I went to Audubon around the corner. I went to Crenshaw up the street. And Leimert Park has just always been very, very, very important to me. And so Leimert Park, when I came home from prison, I don't know if you know that, but I did a little time, was always on my mind because all of my other businesses was either in Beverly Hills or Beverly Hills adjacent. Because like most young black people in the 90s, we didn't want to come on the other side of the 10. You know what I'm saying? We wanted to get out of the hood. And then once I went into prison, I saw the destruction that took by people not seeing people that look like me doing businesses. So I wanted to come back to the community that I grew up in.
Wow. Can you also explain what personal experiences shaped your passion for community building and economic empowerment?
My personal experience for community empowerment was just basically, I was a part of the '92 riots, you know what I'm saying? And I saw basically the destruction that took place in our community, when we expressed ourselves and fought ignorantly, you know. But I also was incarcerated during the time when George Floyd was getting murdered, and I saw how they destroyed their communities. And I just figured when I came home, I wanted to kind of create another way to protest and another way to come together. And I knew that strength that when we're a community and we work together and we own things, I knew that we wouldn't destroy our property. I just knew that we were stronger together. And that was it, man. But it was the George Floyd situation, and it was just 2020 when everybody was struggling and trying to figure it out mentally, spiritually, and financially. And I just saw how community came together during that time, and it was just a perfect opportunity to open up a place like Sole Folks for the community.
All right. Now, where did your business acumen and entrepreneurial gift come from?
My family, my father, my grandmother, my aunt, my mom, all of them were entrepreneurs in their own right. If there wasn't entrepreneurs, I have other family members who was hustlers, and so they were entrepreneurs in their own right.
Yeah.
And so just always, wanting to kind of learn as much as I can by going on somebody else's dime, which meaning get a good job, work in the retail space, work in film and television, whatever it was, and then figure out how I can captivate that information to create my own thing. And so that's what it was for me. I started at 19. I opened up my first clothing store. Okay. And so from there, once I got the formula, it was a wrap.
What was the name of your store?
At that time, it was called Underground.
Underground,
yeah. It was in the Fox Hills Mall, which is now called Westfields Mall. And then my second store was called Underculture, and that was over near like Mill Wilshire area.
Okay. Were you ever in the entertainment industry?
Yeah. I was a casting director. I was a wardrobe stylist. I worked in front of the camera as I did music videos and commercials.
Okay.
But I hired people like you, cameramen.
Yes,
and I was a production coordinator for a company called Power Films.
Oh,
and
wow.
So so I used to do all that stuff back in the day. That's how I know Pablo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because like this store, the lifestyle and the culture of it, it seems that it's like an entertainment background, especially when you see
Yeah.
TISA.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So now explain opportunity zone. And everyone talks about it, and it's, I think it's the cornerstone of gentrification, or
Yeah, you know, opportunity zone, man. All of those zones get a bad rep, and rightfully so. You know, it was once called enterprise zone.
Okay.
It was once called empowerment zone. You know, those were the places where rich white people would come into these communities and get tax havens. The plan was for them to actually hire, hire people from the community and purchase products from these communities, and then they received a tax break. But the only people who was benefiting from that was, rich people from other communities, and not the community itself. They just took from us. In 2017, the Opportunity Zone came about, and that was supposed to change things, and that was supposed to help the small businesses in this particular area, specifically in South Central. Leimert Park had to fight hard to receive that zoning, because this is one of the largest concentration of black millionaires in the country. And so it was hard to kind of explain what's happening down here and what's happening up there, because it's all in the same zip code. And so because of the opportunity zones, I mean, I don't want to go too far into my answer. I'm sure you have other questions, and I don't want to answer those. So, if you have another question outside of that, I'll answer it.
I mean, no, please, because I think this is very important, if you can elaborate.
Yeah. So the opportunity zones, man, really helped us a lot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, especially me, coming from where I came from. While I was in prison, I started a nonprofit called Black Owned and Operated Community Land Trust. And that's the nonprofit that I used to actually purchase this building from here to the alley. Okay. And because of opportunity zones, we were able to get not only a lot of support from financial institutions, but we was also able to receive, which I call cheap money, from organizations that are called CDFIs, which are nonprofit banks. Okay. And those banks were able to give us a loan, for the small portion of money that we owed on the building. And that's because of opportunity zones. So once we have been designated, it's easy for people to invest in this community. There's a lot of great things that happen because of it, but there's a lot of predatory developers in this community as well, who are utilizing that. There's a lot of organizations who are predatory, who are utilizing the poverty of this community to, enrich their pockets. Yeah. So it's really about the individuals who are using these laws, as opposed to the actual law itself, or the covenant, or the bill, or whatever it's called at this point.
Now, do they make it difficult for-profit African-American companies to benefit from these?
No. What we suffer from is a lack of information. It's just like, there's a lot of people driving around in heavy-duty trucks, and they don't know that there's a tax for 6,000, tons. What was it 6 tons? What was it called? Like, like the reason why a lot of you see a lot of rich people driving these
Range Rovers,
these heavy-duty vehicles is because of the tax, the tax break, and they're basically driving it around for free at the end, and so the fact that we don't know about these tax havens is that's really the problem for us. It's about getting that information to us.
Yeah. Well, like, one of the reasons I was very excited of doing this interview with you, because I've met you once, but I've heard your name many times. And to me, you represent the face, or one of the faces, of getting back to community for us. You understand? And there was one particular situation that I saw on social media that I felt was very powerful, and it showed your influence. Was Chase and you guys had a sidewalk here that should have been repaired for months, and it just sat crazy. The city didn't do nothing about it. Finally, you guys made some type of announcement on social media, and within a day, it was fixed. The mayor came by. Like, it really showed your leverage and how the city actually sees what you guys bring here. And I thought that was very powerful.
Yeah.
So how what resolved from that situation?
I mean, that's culminating, coming together, showing our influence, you know, without tiptoeing around it, man. Leimert Park is the crown jewel of South Central. There was nowhere in the world that these businesses, especially during the time this was happening. This was when the film industry was at its worst, where there was, which means that the film industry is the lifeblood of Los Angeles, and so our businesses wasn't doing too much. It wasn't doing well during that time. There wasn't filming here. The actors and the people who work in that film industry wasn't coming here to support the community that they loved, and to have the streets where, one, you couldn't park, two, you couldn't walk into a business without tracking in dirt, and we're talking about drilling and all these different things in front of these spaces, and you guys are kind of like slow dragging it, like it's cool. And so, we had the idea of like, hey man, like we need to say something, because, they come and kiss the babies and hug the old ladies when they're, when they're campaigning, use that influence, use our influence, and let's push a hard line. And we did that unapologetically. And the community, not only it was us, but it was the community that was calling the city, DOT, and all of these people and saying, hey, get it together, get it right. And so that's what it was, more or less. And it was a little embarrassing for them too.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Sometimes you got to pull up their skirts.
So now, did that help them to be more proactive with the community?
100%. And I'm not saying they did it out of scare. I mean, out of fear. I think they did it. The reason why our relationship is twofold is because they also see. I think they always knew the importance of making sure that this place is maintained, but I think staying in communication with us was more important. You know what I'm saying? They were too hands off. They allowed people under them to do things that they thought that they would do, and they wasn't performing. And so they just needed to have their ear to the street. So now we meet every Monday with City Council, and we discuss everything, every issue, every problem, and it's handled like that. We have a wonderful relationship with our city councilman and the actual people who are actually working on the streets and beautifying the community. They bring us every rendering for our approval, or just letting us know, hey, this is coming. What do you think? And it's a wonderful, wonderful situation thus far.
Yeah. So now, how many new businesses in this area have
Popped up since then?
Since then, including like Chase and Haroon and like
One,
one.
and it's a bookstore.
Okay.
But what I can say is, I can't officially say we lost any businesses during that time, or because of that situation. But we have lost a couple of businesses. The Jamaican restaurant isn't here anymore.
Akil Bamboo?
Akil Bamboo, they're going through some struggles right now. They just opened up another place, but they're having some issues over there. The Regency West is not operating as it should, and that has a lot to do with, city and opportunities that were given to them that was taken away, because of, I think, mismanagement from the higher ups, not the business itself, Yeah.
Now, what do you guys feel about Crenshaw? I mean, I lived in Leimert Park for like a year, like around 2013, 14.
Yep.
And I just remember that you could not park on Crenshaw.
Yep.
And to me, it felt like these businesses can't survive if people can't pull up and park and run into these businesses.
Yeah.
And it seems like I've seen all of the businesses on Crenshaw Boulevard in the last 10 years just gone.
Yeah. I mean, that's city planning, man. That's the city all over again. That's the city giving Metro the okay to remove trees and do construction, for the long haul. Like they're thinking 10, 15 years down the line. They were thinking about the Olympics, not those small mom and pop businesses that were there. No one was around advocating, making sure that those businesses were going to come back when the opportunity came around. It's terrible. It's terrible. The new development and the things that we're going to benefit from, right? Like this Metro Rail and some of these new developments, the things that Sole Folks and the businesses on Degnan and the new businesses that are on Crenshaw are going to benefit from, is to the detriment of the people who are in those places where it was blossoming and looking the way it looked before. I don't know what it's going to look like 3 years from now.
Wow.
You know?
Now, another thing I thought was very cool, you brought Gucci to Leimert Park.
Yeah.
Can you explain like how that came about, and did Gucci approach you guys?
Yeah. So Gucci was like, it was a number of fashion institutions that were looking at us. Tommy Hilfiger, for one, and we were going, back and forth with Tommy Hilfiger, and then one day I got a letter an email from them saying that Tommy wanted to come down to Leimert and with his son and kind of walk through the store, and wanted me to guide him through. Now this is during 2020. This is during the time where we're actually, we're protesting with our dollars. Black dollars matter, black businesses matter, and so I was just, thinking about the rumor that I heard about Tommy saying that he didn't make his clothes for black people, and I was just struggling with it. And then I had about maybe 20 unemployed black people who worked in high levels of industry who were just here during the pandemic, and they worked at Netflix, all these different places, and they was just putting together all of these decks and just really working hard to make sure that we got this grant from Tommy Hilfiger. And then one day my spirit was just like, nah. I just was looking to see if he ever denounced that, and I never saw anything where he said legitimately that he never said that. You know what I'm saying? I saw a lot of people circle around it, but I never seen it. And so, I had to make sure that I didn't put my community in harm's way. So I one day I came back, I called a meeting, and I told them I'm sorry, this beautiful deck that was doing the presentation to me, and I was like, nah, we're not gonna partner with them. And immediately after that, we got a phone call from Gucci. Wow. And when Gucci contacted us, because I thought I was gonna lose everybody because people were working here for free. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, nah, I don't care how much money they're talking about. And at the end of the day, Gucci called, and there's a brother by the name of Antoine, he was running the foundation for Gucci, and he was really cool. And so I wanted to know who was on the board, right? And he told me Beth Ann Hardison was a part of this board, and I was like, Beth Ann Hardison? And he was like, yeah. I've always had a light crush on this older woman, you know what I'm saying? Just because of her tenacity and how she fought for black models, going to the UN and all. I just knew the history. And then, Kadeem Hardison, he was always our idol from back in the day, and that's his mom. So, yeah. So when I found out, that it was Beth Ann Hardison, I was like, yo, of course, let's try and figure it out. And they came by, and then I just saw all the things that they did in other places, in New York and Harlem and Detroit and all these places. And I'm like, yo, they really doing the thing. And so that's how they actually came to be. We did a big block party here in Leimert Park, where we kind of just revamped the retail space and did some amazing things, man. We opened up the Sole Folks Art Lab due to a grant that they gave us. I think it was like $150K. We ended up opening up with Crenshaw High School. Crenshaw High School, I guess they created a $3 million auditorium, and the first event was the one that I did there. And we had the superintendent there. It was a big deal. And we're still in great company with Gucci. We're still partners with Gucci.
Okay. And what are some new things you guys got coming up with Gucci?
Well, we just partnered with them to open up their first store in Detroit. Okay. And then they opened up a couple of facilities there, and then doing the NAACP, which is always in February. We always do something with them. We co-produce several events. Okay. They always invite me to things, and there's some new possibilities that are actually in the works with them now. due to the fact that I'm opening up an artist in resident facility.
Artist in resident.
Yes.
Can you explain
Yeah,
that?
yeah. The artist in resident facility is a space that I have over on Halldale and Browning. It's a 4-story housing facility that's going to be for young artists.
Okay.
And so I'm building that right now. We're probably maybe 4 to 6 months away from completion, and right now I'm just fundraising to concentrate on like operations and things of that nature.
And how many units is this?
It's 45 bed. Well, it's 3 units. It's 3 units. One unit has about 15 bedrooms and 15 baths, and the other one probably has about 20 something. And then there's a master unit, which is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, ADU.
Oh, so how many artists would you be able to hold in total in that?
35.
35 artists.
35 artists.
And it would be like recording studios?
Recording studios, photography studio, full-blown production for clothing, full-blown like an art lab where they have everything from pottery to painting.
Okay. And do they stay for a particular amount of time?
Yeah. So right now we're currently working with our actually local community of artists and people who, experience artists in residence spaces to actually sit down and kind of brainstorm to figure out what the criteria are going to be to get into this space, how long should one stay, what type of amenities we're going to be having in there, how long people can stay, all of those things.
It's incredible. So now I hear that you got a great relationship with Wells Fargo and the CEO.
Yeah.
And that you brought him to here.
Yeah.
Can you explain how that came about?
Yeah, during the pandemic, I started banking over at Wells Fargo, and I ended up meeting the branch manager, a brother by the name of Mario. And Mario was just solid. He was a brother from the Bay. He had a street life, but he ended up going to college because of his football talents. He went to San Diego State, and then he ended up moving into Los Angeles when he met his wife. And he was like, look, man, I want to help. I do some financial literacy programs. Can I do something at Sole Folks? And he came and we started doing it, and I started adding my 2 cents to it, and it became fairly successful. And to the point to where we got a lot of publicity. And so when the CEO of Wells Fargo came to Los Angeles, his first stop was to come to Sole Folks to meet me and figure out, what more Wells Fargo can do. And at that time, I had COVID, and I really wasn't, I was probably at the last end of my COVID, and they was telling me because of, I didn't tell them I had COVID, I was coming out of COVID, but they told me that they wanted to come and they only had a certain amount of room, and I told them, nah, if you don't bring Mario, like, I can't really properly tell the story, you got to bring this brother. And so they end up bringing Mario, and I end up leaving one of my people out who really wasn't, he was just one of my people who just ran the store. Mario was a pivotal person, and so I wanted Mario to be there so I can tell how this brother really helped this community with his information. And so we went upstairs, and I sat down with the CEO and just Mario and some other people from the nonprofit division, and I talked about this cat. And he kind of like, the CEO was like, yo, I had no idea that you were doing all of these things because we don't pay him to do all this work. He said, maybe you should be in the philanthropy side. And so eventually, throughout that conversation, the CEO asked me how he can help. And I said, I know you see people like your company coming here. There's a lot of other companies that are coming into Leimert Park. And that means there's a lot of developers that are coming. And it's a matter of time before the owners of my property, who really don't have a true stake to this community, is going to end up selling this place. This building, we want to actually purchase this building through a nonprofit that I created while I was in prison. And he said, we probably can help you with that. Honestly, there's some things that we want to do, and that's one of them. And I said, cool. Then he looked at Mario and said, I think we may have a job for you in our nonprofit division. And so Mario is now the vice president of community, which is nonprofit, the nonprofit division of Wells Fargo. And it's all through that conversation. It's all through me telling them I'm not going to have the meeting unless he can come. And he's been solid ever since. And that's my true relationship with Wells Fargo. Not the bank, but with the person.
Amazing. and that facilitated you guys
Purchasing this building.
acquiring this
Yeah,
building.
yeah. We received about $3 million from Wells Fargo.
And when did you guys purchase this building?
We purchased the building in 2022.
And now, how many storefronts is on?
7.
There's 7 storefronts in this,
Yep.
and they're all leased out already.
They're all leased out. Yep.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. Definitely.
So, how do you see entrepreneurship as a tool for activism?
Yeah, when I first started Black Owned and Operated, my plan was to create a certification platform for businesses. And my fantasy of this certification, it would be like at least 51% of your staff would be Black. Your vendors, the people you purchase your product, and that had to be Black. And hopefully you service the Black community. And that's how you got your certification mark. And so I just thought that if we empowered our community and our industries that way, it can be a form of activism, but it also can be a form of like pooling our resources to take portions of that proceeds to reinvest into the community for smaller businesses to have either receive grants or low interest loans or no interest loans. And so those are the things that I think that we can do when we pool our resources together.
Kind of like recycling the black dollar.
Recycling the black dollar, exactly.
Because I see other communities do that so naturally.
They do it religiously.
Religiously.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we tend to make money and go straight to their community.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. That we have a poor perception of camaraderie.
Yeah. So, what role do art, fashion, and culture play in driving social change?
Man, it's the biggest part. This is why they have influencers, celebrity endorsers, because those people drive culture, and most of the top of the top are people of color, and it's important for us to harness our intellectual properties and our cultural integrity. You know what I'm saying? And not sell out to just anything and everybody. And all money ain't good money, and so. I think that in a place like Leimert Park, we have a merchant association that's really, really stern on making sure that we stay true to the core, which is our cultural relevance, making sure that, the drum circle is always here, making sure that, we're always paying attention to our elders and keeping those traditions. Because we understand that, it's a lot of fluff, a lot of things that's gonna come and go. But that's always going to remain, and that's going to always be the thing that keeps lifting us here in this community. But on a worldwide scale, man, our influence, I just got through traveling, man. I went to Paris and Milan and all these different places, and I saw what our influence, just in Los Angeles, what it did to these places. And so, I just think that we need to, stay solid when it comes to our culture, our cultural equity, and making sure that we figure out ways to monetize that for us.
For us, 100%. How do you measure the impact Sole Folks has beyond just sales?
Sole Folks is more than just a store, it's a campus, and this was a place where people who started off with t-shirts or a hat is now doing cut and sew because they learned how to either sew in the back, where I first created a little trailer that had a bunch of commercial sewing machines, well, not a bunch, 2 commercial sewing machines back there, all the way to 20,000 square foot space at the Crenshaw Mall, where we had 20 industrial sewing machines. So it was a place where we helped industry, where we taught people who had an idea of what they wanted to do. We taught them exactly how to do it. And now they're in here and they've been making, tens of thousands of dollars inside of this one retail store that started as just an idea to be a sneaker store.
100%. Now, we saw your approach with this on empowering the next generations of creators and entrepreneurs. Since you've built this and you've already done it, is there a newer approach?
Yeah, man, it's always newer approaches, man. One of them is really captivating our online presence and figuring out a way to be the Black Amazon, right? Uh, Going out and curate, finding all of the best products that are created for or made for us, and be a distribution channel for them. And so I think that's the big tech move. And then in terms of the retail side, I'm opening up a new store over in Hollywood Park, and we're going to be utilizing some different types of technology that allows people to check out, and a couple other things. So yeah, we're going to be doing things a whole lot smoother, and yeah.
What's the biggest challenge you faced as a business owner in this space?
I mean, I have a special challenges because of my background and my past. Being a convicted felon, ex-thief, you know what I'm saying? So I have different challenges, things that I have to go over. People have to look at me and see my work. Like I really have to have more positive things than my negatives. I have to really show and prove and keep it solid.
Yeah.
And so my struggle's a little different. Unfortunately, I don't run across a lot of that. People may figure out that looking at interviews like this, but it doesn't hamper me as much for me, because I'm also able to, I can make anything, I can do anything. You know what I'm saying? So with or without funding or social media, I know how to get to the people, and I know how to, I know the basics of retail. The biggest struggles I see from my community is the lack of resources and capital. And people who came from the community of being formerly incarcerated, I see their struggles. The luxury that I have is that before I got into trouble, I owned restaurants and clothing stores. So I already knew the formula. So it was easy for me to come out here and create a beautiful space and find individuals with product who need me more than I needed them.
Yeah.
And this time I just wanted it to be a fair exchange, no robbery. I didn't want it to receive small percentages and do all the work, and I didn't want them to receive small percentages and give me just their product. I wanted it to be a fair exchange, no robbery. And so that's what we were able to do here. And actually, we were able to promise little and gave more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Now, if you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about how the community development works in LA, what would it be?
I just wish it wasn't so transactional. Everything is transactional. It's hard to find true, authentic givers. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. Everybody wants something. It's ego. It's really ego driven, and so it's just like. Sometimes I even suffer from it. You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is that I just wish it wasn't so transactional. If everything wasn't just always hand to hand, and it was just like people just giving to just give.
Yeah. What's one lesson you've learned you wish you've known when you started?
That it was going to take so much time out of my days. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a big, managing space, managing human beings, managing projects. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe I have, the capacity to maintain and have a personal life. But the reality is that you'll see it in your care. You forget to eat. You know what I'm saying? You look at your dog and you're like, ah, shit, I forgot to take you out. You know what I'm saying? You look at your relationships, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, I know I was supposed to call, or I know I'm late.
Yeah.
So those things, and then you always have that greater later, so those are the things that I didn't know it was going to take that much.
Now, did it strain a lot of relationships for you?
Most definitely. most definitely. It strains a lot of personal relationships,
Yeah.
love life, friendships. You're not there for all your friends. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're not there for all your family. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's a big deal in those areas. Yeah.
And they don't take it like you busy. They feel like you ignoring them.
Nah, not my people. They know that I'm busy, and they
Okay.
know that I also have the opportunity to choose.
Yeah.
They know that I'll put on another project on top of another project,
Yeah.
and it's almost like I'm choosing to be more busy than I am, and
Yeah.
I just see opportunities that I spent 15 years praying for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you just can't let them go.
Yeah.
How do you personally stay grounded and inspired in your work?
Just knowing for me, I see the end result of things. Like it's almost like I can just kind of see what it's going to look like at the end, and so just knowing, just imagine you go into the future. Not that I can, but imagine you go into the future and you could just see that you will be owning this building. Like right now, you don't have no money, zero money, to buy a building.
Yeah.
You know that there's tenants in this building that are late on their rent, like months
Yeah.
late on their rent. And I know that they're going to end up being partners in ownership about 6 months to a year. I believe that with all my heart. And so I'm operating in a space to where I got the cheat sheet. Watch this. And so that inspires me to move forward. You know, I'm really thorough about my thinking and where I put my time. And,
Yes, sir.
you know, it's the way I manifest.
All right. So what's next for you, the nonprofit, and Sole Folks in the next 3 to 5 years?
3 to 5 years. One, development. You know, I formed Sole Folks CDC, which is a community development corporation.
Okay.
And I see us developing a lot of property, co-developing a lot of properties, helping our generation not get rid of our cultural equity, which is our grandmother's homes, trying to figure out ways to make sure that they don't sell what their grandparents worked so hard for. You know, that's making sure that entrepreneurs can start developing their biggest asset, which is home ownership. You know, most of these families that we see and these other communities that are thriving is because they have collateral, which is their homes. You know, that was the first thing they did. You know what I'm saying? After college, they got married and they came together and they purchased a home. And then they decided they wanted to start a business and they took collateral out on their home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't do that.
No.
You know, we live in apartments and start businesses and we wonder why we can't get loans and we go on credit card and credit card and credit card and we're in debt and we're in debt. And so, and we're not, and our properties aren't building equity, right? Free money that came out of nowhere just because you're sitting there, you know? And so because we're not utilizing that and that's not a formula that we know, it's, you know, those are the things that I see myself doing in the next years to come.
Man, I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for dreaming big. And thank you for being an example for the community.
Thanks, King.
We appreciate you.
No doubt.